right in the middle of a very, I would say, a necessary evil of getting down to our 53. So I will do my best to answer. We've notified some guys that they won't be a part of the 53, the initial 53. There's still some guys we haven't, so I'll do my best to engage and answer questions. But if don't take it personal if it's not a prudent or uh, uh, realistically we're in the middle of something that's important to each and every person, and give them their due respect in that process. As I hope you guys appreciate.
Barry Jackson.
Hi, Mike. Do you have any updates today regarding the course of treatment or the timelines for Jalen Wright and Jason Sanders beyond what you knew on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'll start with Jalen Wright. It looks like it's it's probably not reasonable to expect week one, but it's not too far off in the foreseeable future after that. That's the vague timeline I have on him. And I also learned, Jason, I haven't been around him through an injury, and I think his initial forecast, he's not the greatest doctor. I think he's going to have a little bit longer, and I don't anticipate him being available at the beginning of the season. But I don't see a season ender, and I don't. We've basically, to our knowledge, surgery isn't necessary, but time is.
Thanks, Mike.
David Furonis.
Hi, Mike. I wanted to ask about two veterans that we do have reports out that were among the cuts, Mike Hilton and Pharaoh Brown. What ultimately just didn't work out with them to make this roster?
Those two in particular carry weight with their name in the league based upon their play. And I'll say that in both circumstances, it was less about them and more about competition, and I think it's only, they they can still play. There's just some good problems to have on this team, which is why we communicated with him.
Hal.
Mike, regarding the Jason Sanders situation, what's your next move there? Are you going to bring in some kickers to try out this week? Is that what we can expect?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. What? Let's change gears then.
I know, man. It's as difficult for you guys as it is me. I'm trying to do my best.
What can you tell us about two offensive linemen, Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg?
I not ready to totally timetable in regards to timeline or designation with Liam. With Austin, I so far so good. We are still on that steady path to week one that looks safe, barring any setbacks.
Thanks.
Omar.
Mike, in regards to some of the veterans, you mentioned that they're not on the roster at this moment. Is it a possibility that we can be looking at them going to the practice squad if they're not signed elsewhere and then possibly returning to the team? Or is this more of a we rather invest in some younger player situation?
No, it's a really good question, because it's hard. What does it mean that realistically we've done this process in all different ways. And overall, I think there's a huge piece of like you don't make any sort of decisions without continuing your investment in the player. If you make a decision and you don't do right by the relationship, a lot of times, the whether it's this year or in the future, guys are come back to your team and you're dependent upon those relationships. So with the amount of numbers and the amount of investment that we have, from myself and the coaching staff and Chris Greer, there's not enough time in the day to do right by each individual. So we kind of split it up. There's um, uh, beyond that, I wouldn't read into it too much, but we try to disperse it. And that was important to me this year. Just knowing or trying to put myself in the shoes of the player and them getting something out of the process, even if it's not what they want to hear.
Does this mean that Jason Marshall has basically won that nickel cornerback spot?
I mean, right now, this for me to say any finalized anything is um, would be speaking outside of my knowns. So I know he's done a phenomenal job, and like he really been pumped up about how he's attacked a position that you know doesn't appear not normal for him, doesn't appear new to him. And so there's a lot to learn and a lot of ways you can use a player like that when they show ability to translate practice to the field, especially like he has, where he evolved positions and added versatility and variance to our defense.
Thank you.
Isaiah,
I guess Omar kind of just took my question, but
Mm, he
I
always
guess
takes the good ones,
I know. I guess I'll spin it a different way. I guess what is the future of the nickel cornerback position, considering Mike Hilton being cut? And do you have faith in Cornell Armstrong or Jason Marshall Jr. to be able to handle a full 17 game workload?
Yeah, I think there's the biggest thing with your roster is you're making decisions. You have faith and belief in the guys, and you're always scouring to make sure that you do the very best thing for your team. So to say anything's open ended, I think it's irresponsible um, to to ever be I don't know uh, adverse to competition. So I feel very comfortable with the guys, and um, whether we do a move or don't do a move outside of those guys, it's because we're doing the best thing for the team, and if uh, we have faith in people that are capable for sure.
Chris Perkins,
Hey, Mike, I know obviously you're limited in what you can say. I've got inside and outside linebackers question on Cam Good, Quentin Bell, and Channing Tindall. Does scrimmage or special teams weigh more heavily in their role on the 53-man roster?
Um, I think you're just trying to find a role that you can contribute each and every week. I think when you're talking about players that aren't starting, special teams plays a heavy factor because you have if you're not starting on offense or defense, you generally are uh, best utilized if you can start on special teams. So it's not only the 53, but the active and that plays a gigantic part. So if you're up on game day, a lot of times a non-grass stained jersey doesn't help the team. So it does play a very big part. And um, all those guys have really done a great job, really trying to carve out one of those featured roles on our special teams.
Thanks.
The last question we have today is from Joe Shad.
Mike, on Jalen Wright, is he going to be able to avoid any type of surgery or procedure?
I think in the next coming days, that's going to be settled. But the biggest thing is I don't see, regardless, I don't see extended time, but I don't see week 1. So that's kind of where it's at with or without procedure.
Thank you. How is Cam Smith doing on and off the field in the last, say, 10 to 14 days?
That's a very specific timeline that he's done a very good job attacking the field back from injury. I think he had some of his most consistent play in, play out technique and fundamentals, which put him in position to not only to defend routes that weren't thrown because he covered them, but also make some plays in on the ball tackling and vicing with teammates. So he's done a good job, and it's his game has progressed these 2 weeks.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll close it out here with Alan.
I thought you said it was the last question.
I know, and I snuck in there. It wouldn't be a new week if I didn't ask the obligatory Darren Waller question. Is this a week? Would you anticipate him doing full work in practice or close to full work in practice, or at least getting way more involved?
Yes, that's he's continued progression, and more of him you will see.
Okay, quick follow-up, if I may, regarding Kenneth Grant. Is there any update on his status?
I would say that he's doing well, and there's nothing in question for week 1.